Hi guys, back in my cabin today, tying up some hooks for a match I'm on Wednesday. Silverfish match. My biggest match of the year. I've only recently got back into match fishing. And we're having a go with the ZT Pro 4-inch professional hook tying station by Gizmo Angling. I had one of the originals. I think another company have taken these over and they are still about. They're designed a little bit different to this now, I believe, but the mechanism and the principle is all the same. So let's have a little go, guys. Let's see how we get on with this. So can we see that on camera? So I'm tying some 012, is it? 3.2 breaking strain. So my hook pattern today is a MIDI 6313. I like these hooks for silverfish. The pattern in general is smaller than my regular go-to carp hook, which is a MIDI KM4. That's what I use in the summer, and these are just a little bit more finer. So I've got the hair rig head on. I did have the non-hair rig head with it that I don't use a lot, to be honest. I just tend to use this one now for everything, whether I'm taking hair rigs or non-hair rigs, because it does both, whereas that one only does one type of hook length. So let's take a hook. Let's bring you down a bit, and maybe you can see what's going on. So the idea is, I bring this one head forward towards me, put my hook in there like you would do with, I suppose, any hook tire where you clamp it in the jaws. Just release the line there from the last one I just done. And then we have this head, which is what determines the length. So you should see there, can you see it? If I spin like that and bring that a bit closer, there's a little pin there that the loop goes on. So our pin now, our loop will go on that pin, and without turning this, it's set up for a 3-inch hook length. So every full rotation adds another 2 inches. Obviously an half rotation does an inch, and I'm going for 6. So I'm going to put my loop on you now and then turn this 1.5 times to give me a 6-inch hook length that should fit this Preston Maglock rig stick or whatever they're called. But I love them. They're great, and I store them in one of my trays in my cassette behind me. So let's have a go. So I'm tying with a MIDI. Whoop, let's get that in camera. A MIDI Lovis 012. Breaking strain is rated at 3.2. Being old school, I don't know why, I like to know my breaking strains. They're all much of a likeness. I was just having a look at the Preston Reflow line, which I know is very popular amongst anglers, and the 012 is within the 3.5, I think it is. So there's not a lot of difference in them with the breaking strains, but of course it's all about, with commercial fishing now, diameters. So using this Ringer's double-ended loop tire, I'm just going to tie my loop there and cut my tag end. Some cracking fishermen in this match I'm on now on Wednesday. Some big names in Wales, which many of you would have heard of, being people like John Harvey, Mikey Williams, James Alexander Thomas, better known as Marge. There's some very good boys in this match. I'm just going in it for a bit of experience, for a bit of banter, gets me out fishing, and try and learn a bit. I guess that's what fishing is about, isn't it? Is learning, and they say preparation is key. So there we are. So my loop now is on that pin. As I said, this is 3-inch. Doesn't look it, but by the time you take the slack out of the loops, it makes it a 3-inch. So if I rotate that fully once, makes it 5, and then I'm going to come around to my second mark I've got on here. That gives me a 6-inch hook length. So now, hopefully you can see this on camera. I'm just going to bring this machine to me a little bit, and I'm going to wrap that so it just picks up the shank. And now what I do, so I got a bit of slack, is I wrap that around my finger to take the tension, and I push that down the shank as I go along with a few turns. There we are, I'm happy with that now. And then we push this pin through. I'm gonna trap that this side, so it's looking like that at the moment, peeps, if you can see any of that on camera. I'm going to cut this tag end quite short so it doesn't come through the loop. Get rid of that. Just going to moisten that knot. And then the first bit's push this pin down. Rotate this. And I'm watching the loop as it hits. And everything comes tight. Then I release this wheel. Releases my hook. I'm now going to cut that, my tag end, and then if I can show you this on the camera and rotate that this way, if I release this wheel, that all should come off, and that gives me a perfect, hopefully you can see that, perfect 6-inch hook length. Should go on the rig stick. Let's have a look. Should go on here. It's my loop end on, and then I grab this hook. I'm going to tie some 20s tonight as well. Oh, I've missed it. Sometimes it's hard to feel it in your fingers. He's just here. I'll get him now. There he is. I got him. And that one there then, I think another 2. And that'll be another rig stick full. And that, guys, is how we do a bit of hook tying with the ZT Pro 4 from Gizmo Angling. Hope that helps somebody. See you next time.